Here, back with another live stream. Thank you guys all for stopping by on this Monday. And we have a bunch of things to talk about today. So I'm going to get started momentarily. First thing that I ask of you guys to do as you come in the room, please, and I always do that. I'm not on my screen. Hit that like button. Make that thumb turn blue. That way we can promote this out to more people. And so let me get everything set up real quick. I think I'm going to start doing a timer before I come in. That way we can just start the show and get going. So I think I'm going to start doing that. So maybe start about 10 minutes early. That way it'll give people enough time to come in before we get going. But thank you guys all for being here. Really appreciate it. Miss Happy Apple, thank you for being here and helping out. Really appreciate that. And we have people in the room right now, so that's great. Yes, smash the like button, Elvan. I agree. Smash that like button so we can promote this out to more people. So we have news today. I mean, we have, I'm going to talk about a few different things. The enhanced unemployment we're going to talk about. And so I will briefly go over this and just give you the updated information. There's a little bit of updated information from as of last night. So we'll do that. Student loan forbearance, I'll briefly go over that. You guys kind of know what's going on with all this stuff already when it comes to the executive orders. This has been widely covered already, but I definitely want to make sure I go over it because yesterday I went over the payroll tax cut the payroll tax deferral, and then I went over the eviction assistance. We're not even going to call it a moratorium. It's an eviction assistance. And so today I said I would go over the enhanced unemployment. So we'll do that in the student loans. Then we're also going to talk about the executive order. And this is just my opinion, how I think it's backfiring at this point. So we'll talk about that. And we'll also talk about, I do want to go back to the payroll tax deferment, because I think this is really important for us to focus on, because this could start happening September 1st, and we don't really have control of it. Our employers do. Our employers can make the decision. Hey, we know what we're still gonna hold on to the payroll tax money that's coming in, and we're still gonna do our normal thing, sending it to the federal government, and not allow the employees to receive this. And so we're going to talk a little bit more about that because I think it's important. Being that we don't really have control over it, and it's a loan. At this point, it's a loan. So there's some of us like me. I don't want to have to worry about that. Like I don't need this loan. And so not everyone's the same. I get it, but I'm just saying in situations like this, they're kind of forcing a loan on you that you might not want. So we'll talk a little bit about that. So then we'll open it up to Q&A. So at that point, if you guys have questions or anything like that, feel free to put it in the chat. Just put @TEC, and I will address those questions. Now, I will be, after this show, I plan to get this show over before 8:15. At or around 8:15, I will be going to my other channel, and it's just going to be just a Q&A, ask me anything. So we can just talk about different things there. This is my other channel. So if you're watching the chat, and let me post a link to this right now. But if you're watching the chat periodically, I think I have it set for like every 7 minutes. You'll see a link that will be for my new channel, or my other channel, I should say. It's not really new. I've had it for a few months, but I haven't really done anything with it until the last few weeks. So let me go ahead and find that channel real quick, and then we'll get started. So I also have a few clips to play you guys. One will be just a quick clip of President Trump just talking about the payroll tax cut, because for whatever reason, I don't know, some people are saying that it's not, that he's, we'll get into it. We'll get into it. I don't even want to get into it right now. I'll wait until I start playing the video, because once I start playing the video, then you'll understand what I'm saying. Okay, so let me go ahead and post this. This is the other channel, so go ahead and go over there, and subscribe to that channel. And then, like I said, as soon as we leave here, we'll be going over there. And that's just going to be, we can talk about anything. So we're not really going to be talking about stimulus checks and the executive orders and stuff like that. We'll just be talking about, I don't want to say random stuff. Well, yeah, pretty much random stuff. So you can ask me anything you want. I'll answer. I'm not answering everything, but I'll answer a lot of stuff if you guys have questions. But I do have, just understand, the fact that I'm doing all these videos, I have people asking me a variety of different questions about what camera equipment I use, how do I do my live streams, how do you get the background to look like that? I get a lot of questions about stuff like that. What I had for breakfast, I don't know. Like, people ask me a variety of different questions. So I wanted to have a space where I can just talk about random things and not have to strictly just talk about the stimulus check stuff. Okay, and Julie said she subscribed. Thank you for subscribing, Julie. I appreciate that. All right, so we will go ahead and get this going here. Let's see. Let me drop this down. Okay. All right. And please, guys, hit that like button. If you guys are in the room and you have not done so, please hit the like button so we can get up over. Let's see if we can get to 2,000 likes today. Generally, we get around 1,500. That's usually the average. Let's see if we can make a record today and get 2,000. So please hit that like button if you can do that. Appreciate it. Plus, it's going to bring in more people. So YouTube will promote it out to more people. And so that will help out with more people getting this information. So yeah, you guys saw the title. So we have to try to figure out what's going to happen next, right? Everybody's waiting on these stimulus checks, and I understand. I mean, I totally get it. We were all waiting for the stimulus checks, and we have some more subscribers. Linda subscribed. I can't read that, Danny. Yo soy Danny. Got it. I am Danny. Got it. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you guys all for going over there subscribing. Gene, thank you for subscribing. Okay, so yeah, so as I was stating, when it comes down to it, I forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, it promotes it out to more people. So if you hit the thumbs up, yes, it's going to promote it out to more, bring more people into the game, or bring more people into here to watch the video. So that's good. Got a little flustered there. I couldn't remember what I said. I'm getting old. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. The first thing that I want to talk about. Actually, I'm going to start it like I might end up editing this and putting out a rebroadcast. Guys, let me know if you guys like that. Yesterday, I put out like, I edited the video and then I put it out again. So it was a smaller version, even though it was still kind of long. It was like 24 minutes. But let me know if you guys like that kind of stuff. I don't have to do that, but when I do a live stream, I get it. Not everyone can watch the full live stream. So if you guys do like that, the way that you can show me that you like it is just by watching the video and liking it. That would really help out. So I'm kind of gauging that right now. Like, the likes they're a little less than norm, or less than average. And so I really feed off that. So just so you guys know, when it comes to videos, when I'm putting out videos, I'm looking at how many likes the video is getting. And on average, is it getting more likes, less likes? Because if it's not getting that many likes, then I want to shift to different things. So if you do watch the video, and I encourage you to watch the video, even if you watch my live stream, watch the video, at least hit the like button. That way I'll know, okay, yeah, you know what, people do want these smaller bite-sized videos instead of watching the full live stream, because you can't catch it all the time. So I get it. All right, so the first thing we're talking about today is the enhanced unemployment. And so we kind of know what's going on with the enhanced unemployment. This is an executive order by the president. He basically came out and said, look, we are going to give $400 per week. Actually, we'll do it. We'll say it the way that it was written: $300 per week from the federal government, and then $100 per week from the state. And they had some. There's only, not everyone qualifies, basically. So anyone making $100 or less will not qualify. $100 per week or less will not qualify for this, and so that's unfortunate. So if you are on that end of the spectrum. So you're on the low end, which is I don't understand why they did it that way. But if you're on that low end of the spectrum, you're not going to qualify for this 300 from the federal government, an additional 100 from the state. So that's unfortunate because you're probably the ones that need it the most. But for whatever reason, they had to kind of they couldn't make it where it was everyone getting it because they only have a limited amount of money that they could spend. And so that's the route they chose to go. Now it will be retroactive back to August 1st. So that's good. So you're even though we're past August 1st, you'll still get that money. And so they'll probably cut out a big check. It's probably going to last about 5 to 6 weeks. I would say 4 to 5 weeks now because the money that they have allocated for this is $44 billion. However, President Trump yesterday, he basically indicated that because a lot of people have issues with, okay, these states are really struggling right now. So how are they going to be able to afford to pull another $100 per week per person? How are they going to be able to afford to do that? And they're saying, well, they can take it from the coronavirus relief money that they received already. But some state and local governments have already spent that money, or they have so many bills to pay. This is just one extra bill that they're going to have to add on to it. And so President Trump said, and he said that they would have to apply for it, I guess. They're going to apply. Each state is going to apply for this application to have it forgiven, I guess. So they don't have to pay it. The federal government, it won't be forgiven. The federal government would just step in for 100%. So right now, the federal government is 75% and then 25% the state. The federal government would step in and just say, okay, it's going to be a full 100%. So that's interesting. That's interesting. In the press conference earlier today, Stephen Mnuchin, in the president's press conference, Stephen Mnuchin did say that they're looking at 1 to 2 weeks for most states to be on board to be able to make this happen, because you have to understand this is a new enhanced unemployment. This is not the old enhanced unemployment. So they have to make changes because of the limitations at $100 or less. They're now going to have to make changes to who they were normally sending money out to. So that adjustment right there is going to take them some time to get that all online. And so if we're looking at 4 to 5 weeks, because now the president's opening it up even more. So if the federal government's paying 100% for some states, that means there's less money to go around, right? And so if it's 4 to 5 weeks, just look at where we are right now. What is it? It's August 10th right now. So we're looking at it taking 1 to 2 weeks, which anytime that the government tells you 1 to 2 weeks, it's probably going to be closer to the 2 weeks, right? If not longer. But maybe the 1 to 2 weeks, that's the kind of wishful thinking. Hopefully we can get it done 1 to 2 weeks. And that's most states. That's not all states. So you might still have some states that haven't been able to figure this out yet. And so people won't be receiving anything at that 2 week deadline that Stephen Mnuchin put out there. But if this is the situation that we're looking at, we're now almost in the middle of August. They're going to do retroactive. So let's say they get this done by the end of August. That might be it. It might just be one check that goes out, $1,600, and that's it. And then it expires. And then now we have to face the situation of what do we do now? If we get it passed, if they're able to get it past, September 8th, when Congress returns, then there might be a situation where now Congress is pressed again because we have an expiration date. They're pressed again to try to figure out what they're going to do. So we'll have to see what happens and how it happens at that point. We do know that this money is coming from DHS, from their Hurricane Disaster Relief Fund, which is that's where the $44 billion is coming from. They need to have it's written in the language that they need to have, that the DHS needs to have at least $25 billion in reserve. So that looks like $44 billion is what will be what they'll be able to use for this. Now, I mean that's very dangerous, right? You're leaving the 25 billion, but let's say you have more than one hurricane, or you have a series of different hurricanes. You're in a situation where now you're going to run out of money, and now you're going to have to go to Congress to try to get money for hurricane relief when you already have it now, but you're looking at this situation where you're doing the executive order, and you're trying to fund that executive order. And just like I said this when President Trump was talking about this before he did the executive order. I was saying, look, he doesn't. They don't have the purse. White House does not have a purse. They don't hold the purse. Congress does, and so any money that they get, they're going to have to divert it from other places. And so now you're taking it from, hurricane relief, which is, in my mind, it's not a smart thing to do. It's really not. I mean, my whole thing, this whole executive order is just a bluff. Even at this point now, it's still a bluff, and I'll explain to you later on when we get into the strategies. But it's just a bluff at this point, and I think they're hoping that it doesn't get enacted. They're hoping that there's some type of a negotiation that happens to bail out the White House, because when we saw the language, when people started looking at the language, they started realizing, wait, this isn't doing anything. This is doing nothing at all. Eviction moratorium? No. Eviction assistance. That's all it is. They're going to try to help you not get evicted, but they're not. This is not a moratorium. There's no stay on evictions. I just was watching The Hill, the YouTube channel. Well, it's not a YouTube channel. There's like it's a online newspaper, but they have a YouTube channel, and I was watching a video where this lady was getting evicted, and she had coronavirus, or I think she still had coronavirus at the time that she was getting evicted, which is pretty crazy. They're kicking her out on the street and had all her stuff all out in the front lawn and everything. It's pretty sad. But yeah, so I think it's a bluff. We'll talk a little bit about that later. The next thing I want to talk about, student loans, student loan forbearance. Okay, so it's not they're not forgiving your student loans or anything like that. It's just a forbearance. So it will hold it off. You're not going to have to pay any interest or anything like that until December 31st, so until the end of the year. And then President Trump has indicated that at that point, he will look to see if he wants to extend it even further than that. So this is good. This is good. We have a lot of people who have student loans. One of the things, and I had student loans up until last month that I just paid it off, but the student loan thing is a crazy thing in itself. And I'm going to do, in the future, I'm going to do a video just about student loans, because I think the whole school system right now, it's pretty ridiculous how much schools cost and how much things cost for school, like books and things like that. It's just gotten out of hand. And you're put in a situation where for some jobs you need to get a college degree. It's required, and you have to pay all this money. You don't have any choice in the matter. You have to pay all this money to go to school. You have to pay all this money for books. If you stay in the dorms, like I stayed in the dorms, you're paying crazy amounts of money to stay in a dorm. You're getting half a room. I was paying at the time, I think I was paying almost $800 for half of the size of my bedroom now. I mean, it's crazy. So yeah, it's amazing how things are, but you have no choice. And if you don't have the money, if you don't have scholarships, or you're not able to get any grants or anything like that, then you have to front a lot of this money. Even if you're working, you're still going to have to. Like if you're working part-time, realistically, you're going to have to work part-time. You can't really work full-time and do school full-time if you're like on campus and doing all that stuff. It would be really, really hard to do that and really devote your attention to school. So you'll probably be working part-time. Even if you are working full-time, it's still a lot of money. School is a lot of money. So anyway, I'll talk about that in another video. But yes, so the student loans, that is one thing that I think will work. There's not going to be any problems with that. I think all the other things that they've put forward in this executive order, they're either going to be challenged or they're just not going to work. And So we'll see. But the student loans, it's pretty easy. It's going to be federally. Oh God, I can't talk. Federally run student loans. Okay, so they will be forgiven. So it's not going to be all student loans. It's going to have to be like the federally backed ones. We'll see where that goes. Like I said, I can't see it not. This is one of those things that will go through. It's not. They're not going to have any problems with that. Yeah, those are the two things that I wanted to talk about, and then we're going to go into. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think about the enhanced unemployment. Do you think it's a good thing? Do you think it's like something that is just going to be a mess? It's going to be over before it even gets started. I mean, let me know what you guys think about that in the comment section and also in the chat. I'd like to hear about it. Now, I want to play a video, and let's see here. Let me cue this up. So this was interesting. Okay, this is a strategy kind of talk on CNBC as far as Trump's move. Now, I want you guys to listen to it, and in the comments and in the chat, I want you to let me know what you think about this strategy. You think it's a good strategy, a bad strategy? I'm going to come in and talk about what I think about this strategy when it comes down to it, because I don't agree with what they're saying. So let's go ahead and listen to them.
People don't really want to pay attention to Washington, not just Wall Street, but kind of everybody. You kind of want Washington to take care of you when you need help and then leave you alone the rest of the time. And so right now, most people are actually polling saying they want to see more stimulus or aid or something to individuals. So we watched Congress, and to the extent you were paying attention, you saw that Congress wasn't doing anything. They couldn't come to agreement. And so the president did what he really does best, which is to get a deal. I think that is exactly the kind of character trait that a lot of people supported in 2016 when they voted for him. And so to give him this opportunity to come in and sort of save the day with the deal, I think is a really lucky opportunity for the president.
Okay, so, and I'll play the rest of it, but I have to cut in and just, this was not a deal. I don't know what she considers a deal, but this is not a deal. This is him making a deal with himself only. This is not a deal. The deal is me talking to someone else and we coming to an agreement. That is a deal, and you shake hands on a deal. Who's he shaking hands with on this? This is not a deal. This is where he's just stepping in and saying, oh, I'm going to go ahead and do an executive order because I don't want to make a deal. So the fact that she's saying, yeah, he's doing what people elected him for, he's making a deal. No, he's not making a deal. He's not making a deal with anyone. As a matter of fact, he had an opportunity to make a deal, but he chose not to. So just I was watching this video earlier, and as soon as she said that, I just had to bite my tongue and think, what are you talking about? This is not a deal. This is the furthest from a deal. It's just like this. Let's say I'm at me and my buddy are talking about getting dinner, and I say, hey, let's get pizza. And they're like, no, I don't want pizza. I'm like, no, let's get pizza. I'm trying to convince them to get pizza. And he's saying, no, I don't want pizza. And I'm like, fine. And then I go order a pizza and I say, yeah, I made a deal. No, you didn't make a deal with you didn't make a deal with the people you need to make a deal with. You just went on your own, did your own thing, and then came back and said, "Ooh, a success. I'm a deal maker." No, that's not a deal. Let's go ahead and continue, though.
He does tend to, on many occasions, like him or loathe him, he does tend to cut through the bullcrap, as he has done here. Does this, as Steve cited, referencing a report, I think it was from J.P. Morgan, does this take the pressure off, particularly the Republicans, to do any kind of deal until, say, after Labor Day? They'll wait to see how this plays out. Why would they move now?
I agree. Yeah, I think Republicans, so this is not in the best interest necessarily of Republicans on Capitol Hill, Republicans in Congress. It is certainly now in their interest to just wait and see, I would say, for a few weeks. To your and Steve's conversation from earlier, the $1,200 stimulus checks were not included in this. There are other things that both sides agree on, such as extending the payroll Protection Program, that PPP program for small businesses, not included in this because those require new dollars, so it requires Congress. So I do think that there will be some negotiation. I just think if they're going to act, it's not going to be until after Labor Day. I agree with that.
So people are picking nits in the particulars of the executive order, as they're wont to do. But as an act of political strategy, it seems to me to be genius, because he is in one fell swoop, one stroke, he has defenestrated Congress, and he has put the Democrats in a box where if they oppose this, they in effect then are opposing help for the electorate, right?
I totally agree. If you sue because you think what he's done is illegal, which there is a lot of good argument to say that what he's doing is pushing the boundaries. So a lot of good reason if you disagree with this approach and you want to maintain the status quo and process that you would sue. But then you're out there saying you are trying to stop unemployment insurance that's been expanded for people who need it desperately. So I totally agree. And the other thing really leading into this, I think a lot of the reports and a lot of the understanding of the election to this point has been that Biden has held a huge lead. But when you really dig into the numbers, people are pretty split in terms of enthusiasm. About 30% of people polled say that they are super enthusiastic to vote for Trump. And about 30% are saying they're super enthusiastic to vote against him. And so that really leaves everybody else who's not as enthusiastic as sort of gettable. And so I really think leading into this moment, the electorate was split, and now it's Trump's a little bit leaning towards him.
All right. So what do you guys think about that? Comment section below, chat. Let me know what you think about it. Let me know what you think about it. Now, I'm going to tell you how I feel about this whole strategy and what I think the Democrats should do when it comes down to it. It's very interesting just to see that whole interview. When it comes down to this whole situation, I think you should let it go. Just let this stuff go. Yeah, I do agree with one thing that they were saying when it comes to the Democrats are kind of they're in a box right now. Yeah, you don't want to really go against the giving out enhanced unemployment and things like that. In this situation, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do anything when it comes to enhanced unemployment because it's going to be over before it gets started. So before they come back from recess, it's over. It's done. The money will run out, and then now people are going to be looking and they're going to be thinking, because a lot of people don't know this yet. A lot of people on unemployment, they don't know that it's only going to be for 4, maybe 5 weeks. And so when they realize, oh, this is it, we're out of money, then they're going to be like, what was this executive order? Like, I thought it was going to end in December 6th. That's what's written, right? It's going to be until the end of the year. You even had Larry Kudlow yesterday saying, yes, it will go throughout the end of the year, or the expiration dates through the end of the year. And so when they find that out, when people find that out, they're going to be upset. They're going to be like, what is this? Like, this is like that 2-week extension that they were trying to do, that they were trying to work. Stephen Mnuchin was trying to work. So just let that go. Let it play out. You're going to have problems with the state and local governments. And this is, it's unfortunate that our government is not functioning properly. But in certain situations, you have to, you can't, like if President Trump wants to do this executive order, and by him stepping in and doing this executive order, he's kind of put a halt to negotiations. They might start picking up. We are hearing them talk about maybe picking up negotiations, but I think you need to let this, if they think it's so good, just like in the interview, they think, oh yeah, this is good. Like this is a perfect move for Trump. Like this is the way to go. Well, then let this enhanced unemployment go through, and people will still get money. Okay, they're not going to get it in the next couple of weeks. We know that already, but they still will get money. They'll get that $1,600, and then it'll probably run out at that point. And then from there, then they can work forward. But at least the people will know, okay, this enhanced unemployment was only really, this is smoke and mirrors. They're telling us, oh, it's going to last until December, but or the expiration date is until December, but they didn't tell us that we're only going to get it for 4 weeks. They could have said that. They know that. They know how much money they have. They know how much money it's going to cost. That's what Stephen Mnuchin's for, right? Treasury Secretary he's supposed to be looking at the numbers. And so let that go. Payroll tax cut or the payroll tax deferral. That's something that I think should be challenged. And you're going to have people like me and a lot of people that are going to be like, wait a minute, this is a loan? I don't want a loan. Like, I would much rather get a stimulus check than get a loan. I don't want this. So you're going to have a lot of people that are the public that they're going to be looking at it that way. So if Democrats wanted to challenge that, I would do that, because not only are you going to have Democrats wanting to challenge it, you're going to have Republicans wanting to challenge it. And you challenge it on this notion, the money will be coming from Social Security, because right now they're even backtracking. The White House is backtracking right now, saying, no, we're going to take the money, we're going to reimburse it from the general fund and all that stuff. Well, if that's the case, why not just front it with the general fund? Why are we waiting to see if this is going to be forgiven? Why not just front it with the general fund, and then we don't have to worry about this, and we'll know that we don't owe this money after, at the end of the year. If you can front it, if you have money from the general fund to replenish Social Security or however you're figuring you're going to do it, then do it beforehand. Don't wait until after. It was interesting. There was a YouTuber earlier today that was talking about President Trump. He didn't say that, as far as the whole election thing with this payroll tax, he didn't say that he wanted to, or that he was going to wait until he gets elected in order to say that it was going to be forgiven. He said that he was going to find out if we could do it now, like do the forgiveness now. So find the money now, and then once he gets elected or reelected, then look at the permanent payroll tax cut, which makes sense. That should be the strategy. But that's not what President Trump said. President Trump specifically said, and I'll play the video for you so you guys can hear it. He specifically said it will be forgiven, and we'll look at forgiving and the permanent payroll tax cut after I get elected, or if I get elected. And so let me just play that real quick so you can see that.
Time. First one is I'm providing a payroll tax holiday to Americans earning less than $100,000 per year. In a few moments, I will sign a directive instructing the Treasury Department to allow employers to defer payment of the employee portion of certain payroll taxes from September 1st. And we're actually going to be making that. We just got the word. We're just getting some word from a lot of people. We didn't think we'd have to do this because we thought the Democrats would be reasonable, but they've been not only unreasonable, they've been ridiculous. So we're going to make that August 1st, most likely. It'll be August 1st. We'll let you know the exact date, but we're looking like August 1st. So it'll be August 1st through the end of 2020. This will mean bigger paychecks for working families as we race to produce a vaccine and eradicate the China virus once and for all. And we're doing very good with the numbers. You see it's going down in Arizona very, very substantially and rapidly, going down in California, going down in Texas, going down in Florida. Other areas are propping up a little bit, but we're watching them very closely. We understand the disease, and we're watching them very closely, especially our senior citizens and our senior citizens' residences. If I'm victorious on November 3rd, I plan to forgive these taxes and make permanent cuts to the payroll tax. I'm going to make them all permanent. Now, Joe Biden and the Democrats may not want that. They don't want that because they're adding $3 trillion in taxes. So they'll have the option of raising everybody's taxes and taking this away. But if I win, I may extend and terminate. In other words, I'll extend it beyond the end of the year and terminate the tax.
All right. So You heard that, and that very last part that he was talking about extending it if he's elected. But before that, he said, if I'm reelected, I will forgive and make it permanent. So he's talking about forgiving the taxes that we'll be receiving right now and then making it permanent. So this is one of those things that the strategy is, if I'm a Democrat congressperson and I'm trying to figure out, okay, what's the strategy, what's the move, this is something you challenge. Not only you're going to get Democratic support, you're going to get Republican support, because you're going to have Republicans that are not going to want to touch Social Security. And they're going to, I mean, like I said, they're saying they're going to get it from the general fund and all that. Well, if that's the situation, get it from the general fund now. That's the argument. That's the pushback. And so that's something that I would challenge. The other stuff, let it go. So let the eviction assistance, let that go, because they're still calling it an eviction moratorium. Even in the article, the video that I showed, it says eviction moratorium for renters on there. So keep that the way it is. And when people start getting evicted, then it's going to be like, well, what happened to the eviction moratorium? Now people are going to be looking at the Trump administration and saying, what happened with this? I thought the executive order was an eviction moratorium. Oh, no, it was eviction assistance. We're trying to, help you, assist you so you won't get evicted. So we're providing you programs that are already out there. We're just kind of diverting you to these different programs so you won't get evicted, so to help you not get evicted. But it doesn't allow, I mean, it's not a situation where you can't get evicted. You can still get evicted. It's not a moratorium. So let that play. The student loans, like I said, student loans, that's going to happen already. That's not going to be anything hard for them to do. The only thing there, you might have some people thinking they might get the forbearance, but they're really not getting the forbearance because they don't have federally backed student loans. So that will be an issue. But they probably already know that, because the forbearance it's been going on this whole time. So yeah, that would be my strategy. Just kind of play it the way it is. There's no real move that needs to be made right now. Or I shouldn't say that. The move that should have been made is the stimulus checks. And I know there are a lot of people upset about the whole stimulus check thing. Me being one. Like this executive, just understand this. This executive order put everything on hold. That I do agree with what they were saying on the video when it came to that. Yes, it does put things on hold, because now you have people who are just kind of, they might have said, yeah, you know what, we'll go with a stimulus check, but we're not really excited about the whole stimulus check thing. Now they're kind of like, okay, well, we don't have any timeline anymore. The timeline before, the urgency was the enhanced unemployment. The urgency was the eviction moratorium. Those were the two things that were urgent. And then now the PPP. But that's it. Now you don't have any urgency. So right now they're on recess, on call. So they're on recess, but they're on call. If something happens, then they'll go back to the White House, to the Capitol, and get some work done. But they're not there now. They're on their recess right now. You might have the leaders are there. I don't know about Mitch McConnell. I don't know if Mitch McConnell's in the Capitol, but I know Nancy Pelosi is still there. Chuck Schumer, I believe he went back to New York, but he's relatively close, so he could probably get back very fast if they needed to negotiate, is what I'm saying. But one other thing, too, when it comes to a strategy, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer should demand that the president and Mitch McConnell be in the room. They need to negotiate with them. This whole surrogate thing, this should not be happening. And I would demand that. I would demand, you know what? I want to negotiate, but I want to negotiate with the people, the players in the game. I want to negotiate with the people who are either going to sign off on this or are going to vote on this. Those are the people that I want to talk to. I don't need to talk to other people. I don't need to have, Stephen Mnuchin, he can be in the room because he has the financials. He knows how, what money can go where when it comes to stimulus checks and a variety of other things. But Mark Meadows, he doesn't need to be in there. He really doesn't. I would demand Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump be in that room when they negotiate. Just like that. And put that out there. Go on TV and say, we want to negotiate, but we want to negotiate with the people who are involved in this whole process. Not people that are on the sidelines, not surrogates. We want to talk to President Trump and Mitch McConnell and Kevin McCarthy if he's wants to be there as well. That's what they should be demanding. And then let the president say, no, that's okay. I don't want to, negotiate. Let him say that if he doesn't want to negotiate. And then people are going to look at him and say, why don't you want to negotiate? This is your strength right here. You should be able to get in. This is what we voted for you for, because you're a negotiator. Just like the young lady was saying, he makes deals. See, he made a deal. And it's like, no, that's not a deal. That's an executive order. That is, like I said a couple of days ago, that's surrendering. You're saying, hey, you know what? I can't work this out with them, so I'm just going to do this. And I'm going to hope that it works. And so, yeah, that's what I would do. I would demand they be in the room and let them say no. And let them say no to the American people. That would be my argument. Because right now, you're not getting anywhere with the people that you negotiated with before. So I would demand those people be in the room. So let me know what you guys think about that as well. It's one of those things where it's like this should be happening already. It's common sense. And if you want to have a strategy, if you want to have a real negotiation, you really need to have those people in the room. And President Trump was pressed on this as far as, don't you think you need to be in the room? Don't you think you need to negotiate? And he's saying, no, I don't think I need to be in the room. I don't think I need to negotiate. A reporter was asking him this. He said, I talk over the phone and I talk with Mark Meadows and Stephen Mnuchin. And now he knows. I can guarantee you the big deals that he was making, that he's talking about and that he prides himself on, those big deals, he was in the room. And he's even said this when he was running for re-election or running for president. He said that. He said, you need to be in the room. You need to hug. You need to kiss each other, blah, blah, blah. All this stuff he was saying. But you need to get your deal or whatever. So he knows this. But either he's afraid or he's not serious enough to move forward with it. So we'll see where that goes. But that's what I would demand. Let's see. We're going to go to questions in a minute here. But I want to know what you guys think. In the comment section, let me know. In the chat, let me know. Do you think that they should call them out and say, look, you guys need to be in this room? Now, I know they don't get along. But you know what? They need to get along for the American people. And I'm looking at all of them. I'm looking at Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Mitch McConnell, Donald Trump. If you guys can't sit in the same room, then you guys don't need to be in office, because you're not doing us any benefit. If you can't negotiate, if you can't sit in the room, then you guys don't need to be there. You're not doing the job that people are electing you to do. That's what we expect. We expect you guys to be able to, even if you don't get along, be able to get a job done. Just like if I hire someone to do a job and it's a group of people that are coming in and doing the job, I would expect that they would be professional enough to handle the job and not be bickering back and forth and saying, oh, I can't work with this person, so I'm just not going to do the job. No, that's not acceptable to me. I'm going to fire you guys and go to somebody else. So, yeah, that's what I think needs to happen. So you guys let me know what you think. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and go in the chat. So if you guys have questions for me, just put @TEC, and I'll make sure to answer those questions. I just want to also make sure. One other thing I wanted to talk about. So, yeah, I talked about the strategy, but I also want to talk about, and I'm going to be doing a video that I'll be releasing tomorrow that's going to talk a little bit more about this whole executive order thing. I think it backfired. I really think it backfired. And I think that the fact that it backfired is now opening up the opportunity for negotiations. Okay, so I know I told you that the Democrats should just kind of wait. When I say wait, I just mean do their normal procedure. So the normal procedure is, if they're on recess right now, come back September 8th. I know it's not the popular thing to do because people are struggling right now, but that's what the executive order is in place for. The stimulus checks will come. I think we run a better risk of getting a stimulus check a lot faster if people see that this executive order is not working. I think right now it's going to be like they were saying in the video. The Republicans are going to want to wait and see. So there might not be that much urgency on the Republican side to do another stimulus check. So it might not work at all. But once the enhanced unemployment runs out, there's going to be urgency. There's going to be urgency to get another package going. And so that will push the Republicans to say, okay, yeah, we need to do something. Right now, these next couple of weeks, they're probably just going to be like, let's wait and see what this enhanced unemployment does. Because, like I said, you have Republicans there are some Republicans that are not really excited about a stimulus check. They're open to it. They're okay with it. And you saw, if you watch the whole progression there, there was a long period where you didn't hear Republicans talking about stimulus checks at all. And what ended up happening is when the president mentioned it and he said, yes, it's going to be generous, it's going to be larger than what the Democrats want, then Mitch McConnell came out a few days later and said, yeah, you know what, I would be open to stimulus checks. And so then from that point on, then they kind of moved in that direction, but they weren't putting it out there before. Democrats were. They had it in the HEROES Act. They had the $1,200 in the HEROES Act. But when it came to Republicans, they weren't really pushing for it. So now they're probably just going to say, oh, you know what? Let's wait. Let's wait. And so things might not be able to be negotiated right now, right this minute. In a couple of weeks, maybe so, because in a couple of weeks, when people start realizing that their enhanced unemployment is going to be running out, then there might be that urgency by the politicians to say, hey, we need to make a move now. So that's all I'm saying when it comes to that strategy. So I think it's going to backfire on them, because when people really start looking into these things, and September 1st, the payroll tax thing will start happening. Businesses, there are going to be businesses that are just not going to give the money. They're not going to hand the money over to their employees. They're going to hold on to it because they don't want to be in a situation where they're now liable and they have to pay all these taxes back. So they might want to hold on to it for a while. So that might not be that's not going to be what Trump wants. Trump wants the money to go out to everyone. He's probably going to try to penalize companies if they don't send the money out. But you're forcing a loan onto people. I think a lot of people are going to see that and say, yeah, you know what? No thanks. I don't need more debt, because that's what you're giving me. And then you're just telling me that you'll forgive it. But who knows? And then that's if I win. Like, what if you don't? If you don't win, are you not going to forgive it? Because you have, and this is what I don't get. You have an opportunity to forgive it once if you lose. You'll still be president into January. So the deadline is in December, so you'll still have that opportunity to go ahead and forgive it. But you don't have the power to do that, which he already knows. But so, I mean, he's saying he's going to do something, but he doesn't have the power to do it. And nonetheless, he's still saying he can do it. So the election has no barriers is what I'm saying. So it doesn't matter. Just because there's an election, it doesn't matter. Like, if you win or lose, you can still forgive it. But you're choosing to hold people hostage. That's what I don't like. You're choosing to say, well, if I win, I'll forgive it. If I don't win, it's going to be up to Joe Biden. Really, no, it's going to be up to you, because it's going to expire during your administration. So you should handle it at that point. All right, let's go ahead and go into the chat. So I've been talking way too long. And remember, guys, we will be doing an after hours live stream over on my other channel. I'll post the link again here. It should be popping up frequently, but there's the link to my other channel. So just go ahead and go over there, and we'll pick up from here and talk a little bit. Probably about 45 minutes. We'll just do a little Q&A over there. Now, if you guys have questions, just put @TEC, and I'll make sure I address those questions. Also, please hit that like button if you could do that for me. I really appreciate it. It will help out with the YouTube algorithm, and hopefully push this video out to more people. So we are already over 1,000 likes. Thank you guys very much for that. Really appreciate it. Now let's see what we're talking about here in the chat. All right. let's see. Let me move on down here. One other thing too, I want to say, I'm going to start doing memberships. Like you can do memberships on YouTube. Okay. So when you start getting subscribers, a lot of subscribers, then they start, pushing these things out, these different, or they start opening these different things up for you. So one of the things is memberships. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to have memberships, and what I'll do is, I think right now I'm going to have 2 different tiers of membership. So one will be kind of the standard membership where you'll get a certain little icon, so they'll know that you're a member. Then also you'll get some different emojis that you can use that's only unique to the channel, which is pretty cool. And then the second level, I'm going to be doing a live stream, but it's going to be a private live stream for those members only. So if you really have questions you want to ask, you can do it there, and we can just hang out and do a private live stream. So I'll be doing that once a month. So this is once I get the membership thing going. So just throwing that out there, guys. Now, I know there's some people who are really struggling. I'm not asking you if you're struggling, please do not join the membership, because the membership is like a monthly fee. So please don't join it if you can't afford to. But if you have the money and you want to talk to me more and all that, then by all means join it. And then I plan to roll some more stuff out too on the membership, where we're doing, like, maybe I'll show you like my blooper reels and stuff like that. So we'll make it fun. All right, let's see. Let's see here. And once again, thank you guys all for stopping by. I really appreciate it. The support is just, it's crazy. Let's see. It's funny. I was watching, or just looking at some of I always go, and I do watch other YouTubers, but I also just, when I'm watching other YouTubers, that I'm getting these other notifications, or not notifications, but like they'll show different things in the browsers, and people are on this kick now where I see this $1,200 stimulus, $1,200 checks coming this week, which I thought was crazy. I saw that one. That took the cake. $1,200 coming this week, and I'm like, really? Okay. Where do I sign up? Yeah, just be careful, guys. One thing I will not do, I will not get your hopes up and tell you things that are not true, just to get you to watch the video. And then once you watch the video, then you find out, oh, well, yeah, that's not going to happen. Or I say it's $1,200 stimulus check. What was the other one? Unintended or unexpected $1,200 stimulus check. And then you watch the video and then you realize, oh no, it's not. It's not a $1,200 stimulus check. It's a $1,200 for your payroll tax cut, $1,200 loan, basically, that you'll be getting, and you won't be getting it with lump sum. You're not going to get it until December, when it goes through its normal process, and you have to make $50,000 or around $50,000 in order to get that amount. So I'm not gonna tell you that kind of stuff. I'm gonna give it to you the way, I'm gonna give it to you the real information. I'm not going to try to get you to click in and then try to create a stimulus check out of something that's not a stimulus check. And yeah, it's unfortunate. I like I said, I don't like seeing that, because we have our Discord, and I talk to a lot of people, and I see a lot of people talking in our group. So yeah, another thing too, we do have the Discord, so there should be a link that's coming through there. Join our Discord. We have a lot of good information over there. But I see people are hurting, and it's one of those things. You should not be putting out this false hope when you have people really, really struggling, because fortunately, I'm doing fine, but I can only imagine if I was in a situation where I'm looking for just any money that I could possibly get, and I go on YouTube and I see that $1,200 checks are coming this week, I'd be all excited about it, right? And of course I'm going to click on that video. Of course I'm going to watch the video. And then I'm going to find out, no, there's no $1,200 check coming this week. So it's just playing with people's emotions. It's not a good thing. It really isn't. So, hopefully people will realize that. The people who are putting this stuff out, they'll realize, hey, you know what? Yeah, I don't really feel good about myself doing this. Hopefully they'll realize it. But you have to look at who's on the other end. And this is not like a lot of the clickbait before, it's just like kind of funny stuff, or you mislead somebody by saying, I don't even know. I can't even think of something right now. I can't even think of anything right now, but you can kind of mislead people in a way, but it might be even humorous, or you might be saying you're getting married, or at the wedding or something like that. And then people think that you're getting married, or we broke up, or I don't know. You get what I'm saying, right? There could be things where you can kind of you can do the clickbait on that to get people to click in. But when it comes to financial stuff, this is a real sad situation that we're all in. We're all struggling right now, in the sense that, and like I said, financially, I'm not struggling, but we're struggling with this whole virus and this whole change of our lifestyle and not being able to do the things that we normally do. Like I said, I love traveling. I'm not able to do that right now. I'm staying at home a lot more than I did before, because of the stuff that's out there, and the fact that I live in California, and we have some of the largest numbers out here. So it really does bother me when I see this stuff, and I'm like, oh, come on, like, really? That's not right. All right, let's see here. You guys are just talking about, you guys are really going in deep on politics. Let's see. All right. I'm looking for questions, guys. You guys are just saying vote Biden, vote Trump, Trump 2020, Biden. Let's see. Thank you for being real. Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's a bad. We're in a real tough situation, and we should be responsible when it comes down to it. I'm telling you, like, I was just on there earlier today, and I saw at least 3 or 4 different videos with a thumbnail of $1,200 check, and then, like I said, one said $1,200 check this week. I'm like, whoa. That is not, just think of it this way. And I did watch a couple of them, just because sometimes it's like, I need to see what they're talking about. But just think of it this way. Even if they were to meet tomorrow, so let's say negotiations start tomorrow, just to kind of give you guys an idea of where we are. If negotiations start tomorrow and they make a deal tomorrow, by the end of tomorrow, like I said, we're just doing a hypothetical here. It would take at least a day for the Senate to all get back and vote. So if they made a deal tomorrow, we might not look at a vote until probably Thursday, because they're gonna take a day to get in. And come on, politicians, they're gonna come in. You know what? We need an extra day. We got to get settled. So Thursday they might vote, and then it needs to go to the House. And usually, if Nancy Pelosi is in there, she's going to know the numbers, so she's going to be pretty sure that she has the numbers. But that would mean that both the House and the Senate have to get back. We might get a vote in the House on Friday, maybe. So there's your week right there. And we still haven't gotten it signed off by the president, which the president probably not going to sign it on the weekend. He's probably going to wait until Monday. So he'll sign it on Monday. And then once he signs it, now that it's enacted, now Stephen Mnuchin has to figure out how they're going to get the money out to people. I'm talking about stimulus checks, how they're going to get the money out to people. He already said that they can expedite it, do it a lot faster than normal. So, but that would still take you at least a week to start sending out checks. So we would, at the earliest, we'd be looking at 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks before checks would be going out in a situation where they made a deal tomorrow, which is highly unlikely, right? So if you see a video that says $1,200 checks this week, don't click on it. It's impossible. It's impossible to happen. All right, let's see. All right. So like I said, we'll be on probably about another 5 minutes, and then I'll be going over to the other channel, and then we'll talk over there. $1,200 checks for May, June, July, August. Yeah. I don't know about that. Yeah. So NEX is asking, can we vote for someone who is not on the ballot? Yeah, you can write in a vote, but that would have to really be organized in order to get someone elected on a write-in. But yeah, you have every right to do that. You can vote for me. No. That would be crazy. You know, if you had a YouTuber that was big enough, had a big enough name to just get out there and say, yeah, you know what, write me in on the ballot. Yeah, that would be crazy. As long as you're not running on a party. Now, if you're running under like a Democratic Party, Republican Party, there are certain things that you need to have in place before you can get your name on the ballot. And I don't know how a write-in would work in a situation like that if you're running as like a Democrat or a Republican. But if you're running independent, you're write-in, I don't think there are any things that you have to do. Each state is different in what they require. So that's why you're seeing Kanye West talking about running and all this stuff, and he's not going to be able to be on the ballot in every state. So let's see. All right, guys, be nice in the chat. Be nice. I'm not talking to me. I'm talking to each other. I expect it. Okay, I'm used to it now. But be nice to each other. Let's see. I asked the same question 2 times. What question is that, Lisa? I did not see. All right. All right, guys. Any questions? Go ahead and put it in the chat. We'll be on another few minutes. Absolutely no Kanye. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what he's thinking. Let's see. $1 trillion that was put in to bail out the states. Why not use that money for people for monthly stimulus checks? Okay, so yeah, so Lisa's asking the question about the $1 trillion that was put in to bail out the states. Well, 1 trillion would be, that would be monthly stimulus checks. But the only problem is that the states are still going to need the money. Now, I don't know how much money they need, but I can tell you that states do need money right now. State and local government, they do need money right now. So, like I said, I don't know how much they need, but when you look at it, it's not the people, because who's going to suffer from this whole thing? And that's ultimately that's what we need to look at. They're arguing about this $1 trillion going to the states, but who's going to suffer if that money doesn't go to the states? Is it going to be the politicians? Is it going to be the state politicians? Are they going to suffer if the money doesn't go to the states? No, it's going to be the people who work for those states and local governments. Though that's the people who are going to suffer. It's going to be the people who live in those states. Even if you don't work for the government, it's still going to be you're still going to suffer. Because if a police officer has to do a furlough, or if a police officer is laid off, that means less police officers on the street. That means the response time is going to be longer. Firefighters the same way. It's going to be the same situation. Response time is going to be longer. County hospitals, same thing. Less employees, longer wait times. When it comes to, I just lost it. garbage men, anyone who works for the city or works for the county or works for the state. Those are the people who are gonna suffer for this whole thing. So if the money doesn't go out, those are the people who are gonna suffer. They're talking about pensions. Guess what? Those pensions are tied to people who work for the state and local governments. So if it's and this is what gets me fired up. And I am a county employee, so that's another reason why I get fired up about this. But this is what gets me fired up when they start talking about pensions and things like that. It's not my fault that someone mismanaged pensions. That's not my fault that politicians mismanaged the pensions. Just like it's not our fault that the federal government, who's criticizing people or criticizing the states for mismanaging money, it's not our fault that the federal government is mismanaging our money and we're in this trillions of dollars of deficit. That's not our fault. That's their fault for mishandling our money. But it's kind of ironic that they're criticizing states for mishandling money when they're doing the same thing. And they're being critical of these states. Oh, we can't give out money because they mismanaged their pensions. Well, guess what? Those pensions are tied to people. So I work my whole career and I can't get the pension that I should be getting because people mismanaged the money and you're not willing to back the people. And so that's what gets me about this whole thing. The argument is, the pensions, they're mismanaged and all that. See, this is about the people. This is about the people. So if this $1 trillion was going to state and local governments and they were able to get back on track, I don't see that as being a bad thing because it's going to the people. So, yeah, you can say, well, we'll make it stimulus checks and give it out to everyone, but that doesn't solve the problem about the state and local governments. They're still going to be out of a lot of money because you have to understand during the coronavirus stuff, they weren't receiving the same revenue that they were receiving before because a lot of the businesses were closed and the spending wasn't the same, as well as they had to fight the virus. So they were doing a lot of things for free. And so they have to purchase all this stuff, but they're still providing these services for free where you can go in and get a free COVID-19 test or free PPP and a variety of other things that they were providing. Hospitals were open and, having to modify their hospitals. Schools now, we're seeing schools getting back online. So when schools get back online, they're going to have to make some alterations. That money has to come from somewhere. It's coming from the state and local government. So, yeah, it needs to. It's one of those things where the money definitely needs to go to the states and local governments. That's my opinion, and I'm actually glad that they're fighting for state and local funding because we already know that there are some politicians, some Republican politicians. Mitch McConnell said it himself: let the states go bankrupt. And some of these states that he's talking about letting go bankrupt make the most revenue for the country. You talk about New York or you talk about California. They're bringing in the most revenue. And so you really want to let those states go bankrupt with all the businesses that they have in those states? You want those to go bankrupt? It just amazes me. You know how much money would be lost if you just take out those two states? All the revenue they're bringing in, Hollywood, Silicon Valley, New York, we all know New York, the Wall Street. I'm just saying, like, if you really look at that situation, if you really want to, these blue states to go bankrupt or these blue states to struggle, it's going to hurt a lot of people, let alone how many people live in those states. California, 40 million alone. So you really want that to trickle through the whole country? I mean, you talk about a situation where we'll be in a recession, depression. Let the states, just like, and Governor Cuomo said the same thing. This was months ago that he was saying this because they were talking about this months ago. Yeah, let those big states go bankrupt and see where we are, because these other states are not going to be able to pick up the slack right away. They might be able to, bring some of these businesses over, but a lot of these businesses, they're built in to these different states, and it'll be hard for them to move, especially at a time now where, I mean, if you have a state that really struggles, yeah, it's just I don't understand the logic of not wanting to give money to state and local governments. And if that's your argument, it's pensions. Those pensions are going to the people, just like those pensions are going to the people, and it's not their fault that they were mismanaged. It's not their fault. And so if you want to do it that way and just say, hey, you know what? No pensions for you guys. Because understand this, people who are receiving pensions, a lot of them aren't paying Social Security. They're not paying into Social Security. So guess what? If they don't get a pension, they're not getting Social Security either. So they're not getting anything. So just, yeah. I'm going to have to do videos just on the state and local funding, because that's, yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, I just, Lisa, I just don't think it's easy just to say, okay, well, we're just going to give people stimulus checks, because that's not going to help solve the problem unless you want to pay for all that stuff. Like if you want to pay for your testing and pay for all that other stuff with your stimulus checks, then that's the thing. I mean, you have to understand, like I said, state and local governments, they stepped up and they said, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to, have the testing and have all this other stuff that we're doing behind the scenes. Now, if you want to pay for all that, then the states can recoup some of that money. But most people were like, no, I want to get tested and I shouldn't have to pay for it. All right. This earpiece, I'll take this out. Always keeps falling out of my ear. All right, guys, we're going to look at some final questions here, and then we're going to take off, and we're going to go to the other channel and hang out over there for a little bit. And I will post a link, excuse me, one more time. And I'll probably get in there. It's 8:14 now, so I'll probably get in there about 8:25. I'll go over there. Just give me enough time to go get a drink and then come back. All right, let's see. Do you see the total financial collapse as in the 30s? And what measures do you recommend? Okay, so this is Born Free asking me about the total financial collapse. I am not, I'm not educated enough to educated on that topic enough to give you a good response to that as far as a total collapse. I would have no. I don't know how to handle a situation like that, or how. I don't think anybody knows at this point. We don't even know where we're going right now. Like, because of the virus is still around, and we're still kind of trying to fight the virus and go back to work at the same time and all that. Yeah, I would not have the answer to that. Let's see. Lisa's saying that I understand, but some are having to pay for tax or for tests. Yeah, that could very well be true. And part of the reason is probably because these state and local governments aren't receiving the funding. So they're like, hey, you know what? We can't afford to continue. But when it started, people were able to receive free testing. They didn't have to pay for it up front. And part of the CARES Act, I think it had it in there where they were going to provide some funding for that. But a lot of that funding, according to the states, a lot of the funding did run out. So, like I said, you can get in that argument, go back and forth, but I can tell you firsthand, I know police officers that are doing furloughs right now, and they're doing furloughs because their city's out of money. And so now that means, if you guys don't know how the furloughs work, basically they tell you, okay, 40 hours, you're going to have to take 40 hours off, and you have like a year to do it, a fiscal year to do it. So they have to take maybe 10 hours here, 10 hours there, 10 hours here, but that's all money that they could be making. They're not going to make money for that. So that's like 40 hours of money that they're going to have to miss out on. So it's not a good situation. Now, furloughs is usually the way it starts. Most of the time, state, local governments, they'll start the furloughs first to try to really figure out where they are. And then if they still need additional, if they're still running out of money, then that's when they go to the lays off. That's when they go to the layoffs. And once they go to the layoffs, it's just not a good thing. And to be fighting about it is definitely not the way to go. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and take off. And like I said, I'll be over on the other channel. One last click here, just so you guys know. I just want some people to be over there. That channel is not a big channel, so there's nobody over there. It's just going to be me talking to myself, me making deals with myself, like the girl said. The young lady was like, "Yeah, you made a deal. You made a great deal." I was like, "What deal? Did I miss this deal? Because this is something he did on his own. He didn't make a deal with anybody." All right, guys. So go ahead and go over there. And we'll be on in about 7 minutes. We'll be on over there. So thank you guys all for stopping by. I really appreciate it. I will be putting out a video tomorrow, 7 a.m. I'm not doing a live stream, I'm not doing a live stream tomorrow night because I will be on another channel. I didn't even push that channel. I'll post a post. I'll post a post in the community tab. There'll be a post of where I'll be, but it's going to be Cakeology's channel. I think we're still on for tomorrow. At least we confirmed it already, so hopefully we'll be on tomorrow. But it'll be at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'll be over there just talking to him about stuff. He's a buddy of mine, and he talks about business credit. But I'm sure we'll be talking about a variety of different things over there. So anyway, I'm gone. Thank you guys for being here. Until next time, talk to you later. Bye.